provide foster housing for foster kids that have exited the system that would have otherwise been rendered homeless. This was the largest lot on our main thoroughfare. As you can see, it looks like an urban jungle, but you can also see how amazing the architecture is there. So we set out to come back what the avenue looked like, and we put in the area's first functioning playground for many, many years in our community. This was the other side of that lot. That was an old JCPenney store that had to be torn down because it started falling down on people. And then we replaced it again with playhouses that have been fully embraced and utilized by the community. This was one of the 13 or 14 hotels that was in Braddock. Again, unfortunately, went past the point of no return. And then we put in a 2-acre urban farm that provides jobs for our young people. It provides fresh produce because Braddock is a food desert. I tell this anecdote. I was at a TED Talk in Harlem, and folks in Harlem called Harlem a food desert. And I stayed in Harlem, and I was in a beautiful loft hotel, and I walked to a Starbucks in 30 seconds out of it. So that's not a food desert in my mind. A food desert is a place like Braddock that doesn't have a grocery store, and your main food that's readily accessible is a bag of Cheetos and a can of soda. This was our welcome sign when I took office. So, as I joke, it's like, that's really the kind of handshake you want people to get when they're coming in. It's like, do I want to open a business where the Crips are sponsoring our gateway sign? So, of course, we immediately set out to change that, and we had a new sign that's actually much larger. Mosaic tile made by the young people that won Neighborhood Art Project of the Year in 2009 in Pittsburgh Magazine. Bringing a little Portlandia into Braddock. We have our own small-scale apiary that produces enough honey that we can sell the excess. What's interesting about that is that the bees came from the abandoned buildings that we had to otherwise tear down. So they're actually Braddock-grown bees. We make a big deal out of holidays again. You know, something that stopped getting out of Community Day in many, many years. And some of you, if you know, heard of Franco Harris, football. You guys have the Patriots, but Steelers is our state-sponsored religion down there, and Franco Harris would be the pope of that. Coming after Community Day, we make Easter egg hunt, a lot of community engagement. Since Braddock is a food desert, ice cream trucks reputationally wouldn't come out. So what we did is we found an ice cream vendor, purchased all the ice cream, and the truck goes around every 2 weeks and hands that ice cream to the children during the really hot days during the summer. This was an abandoned school that in the main thoroughfare there. We took that on and created the first art gallery in the area of Ford Town region that hosts shows, intimate shows, all the way up to large-scale collaborations with Pittsburgh's Andy Warhol Museum. Urban homesteading has become popular in the community, as you might expect with a home with $4,300. Here's a prime example of a traditional house. Mill house that somebody bought for $4,300 and did an amazing job. A lot of elbow grease, put about $10,000 into it. Some of you, if you followed Braddock at all, may have seen that we were the center of the Levi's marketing campaign for 2010. Levi's called up and said, we'd like to feature your community in our national ad campaign. And I thought I was on like the MTV show Punk'd, and no, really, we really do. So Levi's set out to make a large donation, and in return for that, Braddock would be featured. And every person in the commercials was an actual Braddock resident. No models were used, and 100% of the funds went in to restore our community center and went into their pockets as well in terms of income. I'm wearing Levi's now, not because I'm a spokesmodel or anything, but I didn't even get a free pair of jeans in the deal. 100% of the benefit during this partnership went into the community. Recently, what's happened here in Braddock, after our hospital got torn down, I worked with Allegheny County officials, and we were able to secure a $20 million redevelopment project that's going to bring a lot of housing and commercial development, including a MedExpress clinic. If anyone knows what a MedExpress is, it's an urgent care clinic that will go a long way to filling the void filled by the hospital's departure. This was the last shooting that we had in our community. I don't want to give the impression that I rolled into town and I'm like, we got this covered, you know. These are still issues that are present. This is another, I thought I was being punked on candid camera moment. I was at Costco about a year ago and I got a call from a director named Scott Cooper, who directed the film Crazy Heart. Anyone heard that? It's Jeff Bridges won his Oscar, and I think he won 2 other Oscars. And he said, John, we did a movie kind of roughly based on Braddock. We have to shoot it in Braddock, and it stars Christian Bale. And we need your help. You know, so after I picked myself up off the floor, we worked with the governor, and we were able to arrange the tax credits necessary. So this is a movie that stars Christian Bale, Woody Harrelson, Forrest Whitaker, Zoe Saldana, the biggest names in Hollywood, you know, right here in the movie, filmed in the community, and it's just recently revealed that Eddie Vedder is going to be doing the soundtrack. So the movie's scheduled for release in October, and I joke that it's not going to be great for tourism, because the script, as was described to me, is a cross between The Deer Hunter and No Country for Old Men. So it's not an uplifting story. But nevertheless, it actually, in addition to being filmed in Braddock, will actually take place in Braddock proper. Part of the Levi's money went in to create a high-tech camera network in the 2 lasting areas where we have a little bit of issues. The Braddock Carnegie Library was recently added to the National Registry of Historic Places, an elite group of buildings. And yesterday it was announced that Mental Floss magazine called Braddock Library the 4th most beautiful library in the United States. You know, a little Braddock. 4th most beautiful library, least most attractive mayor. Again, last year we had our best year of youth engagement ever. We took nearly a dozen field trips during the summer in activities as diverse as going to the movies and going to the Phipps Conservatory, which is this incredible botanical garden in Oakland. We put a new boxing gym in the community center, and already we have 4 Golden Gloves that are routinely competing in the local tournaments. Has anyone had a dance party in a giant plastic bubble? Yeah, I never have seen a hand when I asked that question, but we did. So there was an artist who was driving to Flint, Michigan, actually started in New York, and said, we want to do a dance party in a giant vacant space in a bubble. And yeah, so I was like, cool. So, like, bring in the truck. That picture doesn't do it justice. There's actually over 100 people in there dancing to techno music. So again, part of bringing the arts and culture into Braddock. Got a chance to meet the president, you know, again. Forrest Gump reference there. But it was very nice to have our efforts recognized. Recently, in a community that doesn't have a restaurant, our young people opened up a community cafe that serves only healthy foods. I don't know how popular, and it's been very popular, but nevertheless, you face your challenges when you don't have a lot of the traditional fare. But again, in our community center, this is one of the projects that we're really excited about. It's called the Free Store. And what we've done is we've partnered with a national group called KIDS, and they deal with inventory access and non-sellable goods. The label might be misstitched, there might be a slight imperfection, and rather than being thrown out, they distribute it to network, their national network. And what we're able to do is distribute thousands and thousands of dollars of baby clothes and other things, car seats, adult clothes, what have you, to the residents. That picture on the lower right is also Duquesne University, which is a major prominent university in Pittsburgh, much like Northeastern is to Boston, was going to throw out 2,000 of its desks, and they got new desks for their students. So we took a big bunch of them and distributed them to all the children in town that wanted a desk for their home studies. And I just wanted to take this brief moment to thank everybody here who invited me to come speak. The honorarium, the generous honorarium that I will receive to speak in front of you all, will furnish the expansion of what's known as Free Ride Braddock. Purchase another cargo container to place at the lot, which will distribute refurbished bicycles to every child in the Braddock 15104 area code going forward. So I just want to thank Rob for the invitation. People who make the mistake of inviting me to speak, I always like to share with them that I never keep a single dime of the fees, and they go into projects like that. The trailer is actually being ready to be delivered this coming week. This just happened on Friday. So, again, I just want to make sure people understand that there's still problems. So, unfortunately, two of our officers thought it was a good idea to start fighting each other in the station, and then another one thought it was an even better idea to taser. I wish I was making this up, but I got the call. I'm in there at midnight, and we're trying to hash this out. So, and the reason I bring this up because is one, I like to keep people current with what's going on in town, and I never want to be accused of trying to paint this Pollyanna picture of Braddock. It faces enormous challenges, and some people ask, how do I keep my sanity and these kind of things, but overall, it's been a really, really great ride. And of course, we still have things like that. And really, at the end of the day, you get to balance it out with like this. These fabulous community events. If you're all in the Pittsburgh area and you need something to do on Easter, stop on by. So really, what has all this done? What are the things, if I had to distill the Braddock talk down to one thing that you're most proud of or most grateful for, what would that be? Well, it's public safety. Because at the end of the day, if you're not able to enhance and create a feeling of public safety, no one's going to move there, no one's going to invest in your community, and whatever plans will be challenged from the get-go. And what we've been able to do is essentially reduce crime down by nearly 50% in terms of call volumes. And then this past December was the second lowest calls on record since Braddock was actually a community. And the single fact that I'm most proud of is that this May, in a little over 2 months, we'll have gone 5 years in town without a murder. And below that top there gives a description of what that's like. And a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be in a community like that, where it was an epic gun battle that involved assault rifles. Nearly 100 rounds of ammunition were expended. Now, these are the kind of conditions that a lot of people in this country have to live under. And if somebody asks me, well, why do I do this? Because the pay is horrible, it's just a lot of aggravation. It's like, well, it's the fact that thankfully we're able to make a difference. And when you're a mayor of a small town, things are all very personal. And you see very firsthand, as far as I am to Rob, the effects of gun violence. You see somebody's, not to be indelicate, but that the reality is their brains are blown out by an assault round, and it changes you forever. And you want to take